Hello everyone, I'm the Nerdy Fool and welcome back to Baldur's Gate 3. We left off having just freed Oscar Fevris here from being possessed, and he's offered to make us immortal through painting. So we're going to start out with that.
Very well.
We've had our rest, so we're no longer blood-coated.
He is the hero of the hour. Brushes are oiled, the canvas prepped, and you... well, you're comfortable. That's the main thing. So, shall we begin?
Oh, he still doesn't think we look good. We just rested. We're in very fancy armor. Yes, let's do it.
Wonderful. Stand yourself just there. And voila! All it needs now is a name. Something to capture the spirit in which it was created.
Let's not overcomplicate things. Portrait of an Adventurer is fine. The Mighty Defender of the Arts. Ha! The Ghost Whisperer. I'd rather my name weren't on it, to be quite honest. Call it whatever you want. I'm only going to sell it. Rough. I don't really like any of these names, to be perfectly honest. Portrait of an Adventurer is fine, but the fact that he says, let's not overcomplicate it and just give it a generic name, makes me not like that answer anymore. Mighty Defender of the Arts sounds like too much. And Ghost Whisperer is weird. I'm just going to go with a Portrait of an Adventurer. Just a generic statement.
A very traditional choice. Perfect for such a dignified hero as yourself.
Yes.
Please, take it in for a moment. It's not every day one's face is preserved for posterity.
So is that going to give us any sort of... Wait. The coloring's atrocious. So we got the Hero of Baldur's Gate. Is that going to give us any sort of long time bonus? Nah. Shame. Hero of Baldur's Gate. Oh, and how fetching a face. Flawed, flawless, elegant, hideous, pained, pleasurable. It seems to fit all such descriptions and many more besides. Worth 1,500 gold. That is a shame that there's not more to it. But oh well. That's that. So I know last time I was saying I couldn't think of anything else to do, and so we would look into the Steel Watch. But then I remembered we still have Will's quest. I guess there's no reason for me to walk out of here. Out in Worm's Rock. I almost forget that Worm's Rock is still an area we can go to, because most of the areas we've been through we are locked out from going back to. But we can go to Worm's Rock. We've got Will's quest, and that's a good one to do before we actually start moving on to the main quest. Because I'm putting up the main quest as long as I can, because I don't want to accidentally go too far.
One more time. Pretend I'm a fist and tell me what you were doing in the house.
It won't happen.
Okay.
I swear.
Let's go fetch Will. And I'm probably going to have to level him up several times. Who do I want to replace? That's a question. Possibly... Astarion? Because Will's supposed to be, you know, a DPS character. Which is sort of the role the rogue fits in. But he doesn't have the lockpicking skills that I need Astarion for. But I can't imagine him being a frontline tank or a healer. So, it's gotta be Astarion.
Always good to talk, my friend.
To you as well. I'd like you to join me.
I'm up for the challenge. You've just got to make a little space.
You will take Astarion's place.
Ready and willing.
How far behind are you? You're only level 10. Okay.
Where am I needed?
If we look at your dex, it is terrible. So picking locks is not going to be your specialty. Yeah.
No one's stopped me yet.
Can anyone else do it? No. So if we run into any locks, we're kind of screwed.
The pride of the gate.
Also, he has no equipment, because of course he doesn't. Well, let's level him up, and then I'm probably going to need to take some time to give him equipment. Ugh. What are we going to do with you, Will? Circle of Death, Arcane Gate. Eye Bite. Inflicting dread, sickness, or putting creatures to sleep. Petrifying enemies. Oh, they get 3 saving throws. Or create undead. Huh. I mean, Circle of Death is good damage. But we're going against the Dead 3 long term. Although with his quest we aren't. We are just trying to get to a dragon. Whatever that's involved in. Yeah, we'll go Circle of Death. Oh, once per... This is not the spell he learns. This is a spell he can cast once per long rest without expending a spell slot. Okay. And then for a spell for him to know. I mean, reasonable to choose the highest level spells, but he does cast everything upcast into his highest level slot. So they're still okay to use a lower level spell. I'm gonna just go with Flame Strike. Get some damage going. I mean, Fireball's always nice. Do I want to replace any spells? I don't think so. I'm fine with all of those. And Armor Bagathis isn't amazing. Probably does upcast in some form, though. That's whatever. Level 12, he gets a feat. I could give him a skill training in picking locks, but that feels kind of like a waste. Another spell for you. Yeah, it's... Again, this is one of these spells where they don't tell me the area of the spell. It creates a black sphere 60 feet away from him, or up to 60 feet away. But we don't know how big that sphere is. If it's just a tiny, like, 5-foot sphere, that's terrible. But if it's, you know, a 60-foot sphere, that's amazing. I think in D&D it's pretty good, so I'm going to grab that. It's good control and damage. Could get banished, but I've never used it yet, so it feels like a waste to grab something that historically I don't use. I don't imagine I'm going to be having him use a weapon. So probably not that. Proficiency in deception and persuasion would be cool if he was my party face. He's not, though. Bane isn't bad. Takes one of his spell slots, though, which is rough because he doesn't have a lot. And it's once per long rest. When he gets back his spell slots on a short rest, and he wouldn't get that back. I don't know about that. Might give him Devil Sight. Allow him to see in darkness. Because we regularly have issues where we have difficulty targeting when enemies are in darkness. So yeah, I could give him something like Skilled and give him proficiency in Sleight of Hand, which would bring it up to a +6 on those rolls. But probably not. Spell Sniper is tempting, critting on 19s. Yeah, we're gonna go Spell Sniper. I think he's gonna spend most of his time doing Eldritch Blast. And so just being able to crit more often sounds good to me. Shocking Grasp, I think. Just so if he happens to be nearby, he can target someone who's in armor to get advantage. Because I can't think of a circumstance I'd want to use Firebolt over an Eldritch Blast. That at least has utility. Okay, that'll be Will at level 12. Now give me a moment to figure out what to do about his inventory. We've managed to get some pretty good upgrades on Will. Most of the focus was just boosting his AC, as well as getting him some items that boost his attack values, particularly when he's casting spells. So we've got a few things that can give him some minor bonuses. Overall, I think he's set up pretty well. This +18 to dexterity is going to be pretty good, I think. Or not +18, setting his dexterity to 18. Yeah. So that's Will. Let's head out now, I guess. And see where his quest takes us. Hopefully we won't be too far behind with him in the party rather than Astarion.
It won't happen.
2 steps at a time.
Let's talk to Will
Not as bad as it could have.
and see if he has anything to say about here, because I don't remember exactly where we're supposed to go or what we're supposed to do.
Always good to talk, my friend.
No.
What path lies before me?
Well, we had a book. Something about a dragon. I think. Maybe Will has it? Nope. Will doesn't have a book. Alright, that's what the journal is for. Will, what's your quest? Blade of Frontiers, Wormway. After reading the legend of Ansur, that's probably what we need to find in our inventory, we discovered that the great worm Ansur resides in a secret lair called the Wormway. The entrance is apparently located somewhere within Worm's Rock Prison, and the notes inside it hint that opening the way involves lightning sparks and torches. Legend of Ansur. Ansur. Legend of Ansur. There we go. And of course we have it rather than will. Baldur's great Baldur's birth. O Baldurin, founder due veneration. His guardian dragon Ansur, tremendous in worth. A savior below, our eternal elation. To Worm's Way, 'neath prison's deepest level, to be found by not a soul nor devil. With a lightning shock, a true hero's spark flickers, the torches alight, and Worm's eyes shall awake a glitter. Its trials no common adventurer may exceed, when each day sends forth new ones to their fates, but one great hero, by the founder's will decreed, shall only once grant our age the heart of the gate. Okay. AC 21 suddenly. It was 20 earlier. I'm not complaining.
I don't know.
Presumably we gotta go down here. I'm hopefully not get in trouble for doing so. Let's toss down a quick save.
The people.
Well, no one stopped us. Right, we murdered everyone down here. Forgotten about that. Okay, we've got dragon head torches. That sounds reasonable. We need to use lightning skills on them, presumably. Let's just try shocking grasp. Like, ideally, we would have Will do this, but I don't think he does electrical spells.
Pride of the gate.
Well, he's got Call Lightning, but that'd be a bit of a waste here.
Never a dull moment.
We're in.
Another step forward. What's that?
I don't know. Mouse hole from Worm's Rock cells.
I'm way too big.
Well, there's always the usual option of summon Scratch. See if Scratch can go in, but my guess of it's called a mouse hole.
The smallest of creatures, let alone you.
Yeah, I don't have a mouse. So there was a mouse in the cells. So there's a passage from the prison cells down to here for that mouse.
Swift as my feet can
Well, that's
carry
cool.
me. Always room for more.
Potion of speed, gold. Probably should have checked Astarion. I mean, now that I'm down here, I'm wondering if I should have checked with Astarion to grab all of the potions he might have on him. And lockpicks and whatnot that Will might need as our current rogue. Can I leave? Can I not leave? Oh, that's awkward. No, we can. Okay. So, give me a moment. Alright, we're back here, and Astarion did have lots of healing potions on him, so I am glad I remember to grab them. Because if we end up needing them, it'll be good that we have them available. Hopefully we won't need them, but we're going to be interacting with a dragon, so you never know. Okay, it doesn't look like there's much we can interact with. Let's head on down. The Wormway.
Is that Baldur with a bronze dragon?
Must have been quite an adventure.
Sounds like a pretty cool adventure.
Baldurin and his winged ally admiring the fruits of their labor. The city itself. Baldurin sails away and leaves the dragon to watch over his city. Do the histories make mention of this?
Doesn't sound like it. Since no one knew about the dragon.
The statue before you bears a familiar likeness. It is Balduran, the celebrated adventurer who founded the city of Baldur's Gate.
Peril floods my province. The palisades fall, the earth does tremble. The servants of shadow and blood assemble. Beyond lies the grand worm, deep in slumber, awaiting a true hero's advent, should my domain drown in torment. Be you the deluge, turn away. Be you the hero, answer true. Are you worthy?
Poetic nonsense. There is no worm and no savior.
What are you? What is this place? I am worthy, open the way. Examine the statue. What magic might be at work? Let's do that. We'll take some guidance. Oh, Will has guidance as well. Not that it matters. We don't need it from two different people. I don't think we can take it from two different people. No. Oh, not one. I don't think it's important enough.
Whatever magic allows this statue to speak, it lies beyond your grasp.
Didn't feel like wasting an inspiration. What are you? What is this place?
The statue gives no response.
Fair. I like that my character is taking the lead, but in this particular case, since Will is the hero in question, feels like he should be the one answering, but I'm worthy, open the way.
Ancient Ansor, hear me. A champion is proclaimed. The test begins. Let your judgment follow.
This is ancient magic. Very cool.
Incredible. How old is this place?
Since roughly as old as Balduran. From the sounds of it. And I'm just waiting for any moment to have a dragon just drop down in front of us. Shrouded. Something over there is shrouded. I see not you, but the effect on you. Hey, Balduran. Can't interact. Courage, insight, strategy, justice. Face my tests, prove your worth. Okay, so we've got him with scales, usually a symbol of justice. Book, so maybe learning. Looks like probably a knight chest piece. And then a sword. So does those correspond to an individual path each? I think so. So do we go down here and face justice first? I think so, before we go through any of the doors. Double iron doors. Yeah, they don't tell us what to expect through those. We'll go down here. Oh, we also have secret door here that I almost missed. I'm a fan of secret passageways. Where do you go? Right after I said we're not going to go through any side doors. We've got 3 people. Are you ghosts? Not clear. AC 0. There's Baldur with a book again.
A good leader has the insight to find good counsel. As a war reaches its end, there is one who doesn't advise for the city's prosperity. Find him and strike him down.
Okay. One who doesn't speak for the city's prosperity. So presumably one of those 3 gives bad advice, and we need to determine. Missives of Candlekeep. It's a collection of the most notable letters sent from Candlekeep. Many are dry reports of celestial movements or incomprehensible details of arcane rituals. However, this letter catches your eye. To the Sage Elminster. Is this... Might have read this. Because Candlekeep is the city in Baldur's Gate 1 that the character leaves. I can't remember it. To the Sage Elminster, over the past year, I've delivered many of your letters to Master Gorion, so I wanted to be the one to deliver this sad news. Alas, he is with us no more. Gorion and his ward left Candlekeep soon after your last letter to him arrived. They departed in the middle of the night, but were waylaid shortly after on the road to Baragost. The gate warden told me that Gorion saw to it that several of his attackers joined him in the next world before he was struck down. I hope this brings you the same grim comfort it brings me. Of his ward there was no sign. In some better news, I received your letter to the library and was able to find much of the material you requested. It has been carefully secured and will travel with this letter. Yours in honor, Tristan P. Shale, librarian at Candlekeep. P.S. I hope you'll forgive my curiosity, but might I ask, why do you need so much information about Ballspawn? What exactly are you working on? Yeah, so the Ward of Gorion is the character from Baldur's Gate 1. Approachable East, Volume 6. I'm just curious if any of this is going to be related to the test, and if knowing it will be important. I must say, for a place with so many orcs and goblins, Thesk is a remarkably pleasant land, a true melting pot where all are accepted and quite a lot seems to be permitted. Alas, the crew I sailed here with were imprisoned by the harbor master, but I was soon on the road known as the Golden Way, and it lives up to its name. The wealth of a continent marches along this road. Furs from Neverwinter and iron from Nashkel flow in one direction, while silks and jewels flow the other. I have heard so many stories of the world. The Golden Way passes through Rashamen. That's where... our new party member... How did I forget his name? Stonelord. That's where he said he was from. I don't know anything about it besides his statements. Through the wastes of the Horde Lands and on to the continent of Karatur. A land of empires, dragons, and beasts I've never dreamt of. I am so close to Rashamen, but what was once my dream now sounds so mundane. Last night I made camp and was joined by a charming fellow. I told him my dream of seeing Rashamen, and he laughed. He claimed that Rashamen is nothing compared to Thay, and invited me to visit the courts of the Zulkirs. It seemed rude to turn down such an illustrious invitation, so I will see what this Thay has to offer. Then Rashamen and beyond. I would not want to go check out Thay. All I know about them is the Red Wizards, and that is more than enough to know. To stay away. Orders of the Gauntlet on matters of law and justice. Good is the absence of evil. It means to seek peace and to enforce it. It means to seek depravity and to denounce it. And it means to trust in your God and yourself, for the greatest good of all is called faith. Goodness is not lawfulness. Law is commandment, of God or of mortals. It is the call of authority and the sanction of its opponents. Law is the father of order. To renounce it is to invite chaos, in which there is neither meaning nor life. Law can be corrupted. Lawfulness is not goodness. I say to you, then, that we seek not to be good or to be lawful, but to be just. For what is it to be good if we cannot define the acts that oppose it? What is it to be lawful if it is the devil's commands we obey? Justice is the hand that feeds the hungry, and the shield that guards the weak. It is the sword that fells the wicked, and the cloak that warms the indignant. It is for justice that the Order of the Gauntlet stands watch, and is for justice that Tyr and Torm, Helm and Hor demand. Lessons of Simple Livings. Zariel's fall. The forward of this brief account of Zariel's fall captures the tone of the entire text. Greetings, sensible folk. Already I can detect grumblings and agitated rattle of pipe stem against teeth. A lesson dedicated to the Archduke of Avernus? Has Harrington taken leave of his senses? Quiet your complaints. I assure you I have not. It is true that the cosmic occurrences are often insensible by their very nature, but the tale of Zariel strikes close to home in her downfall. You will be reminded of those haughty do-gooding neighbors and acquaintances who rightfully arouse your suspicions. One moment they are suggesting you grow turnips rather than potatoes on that fallow patch, and the next they have their kitchen knife strapped to their belt and are suggesting you explore the abandoned crypt behind the Giles farm. In short, Zariel was a celestial being tasked with monitoring the ebb and flow of the Blood War, of which more in Volume 21, matters of little importance to sensible folk. Observing was not righteous enough for Zariel, though she took it upon herself to become directly involved, like the oaf who sees two fellows fighting over a spilled tankard of ale, and rather than applauding their effort, cracks their skulls together and causes a tavern-wide brawl. She invaded Avernus, was defeated, and now rules there, corrupt and wicked. What can sensible folk learn about this foolish tale? It is obvious. Do not strive to correct what cannot be corrected. Look not to distant lands and conflicts, but to your fields, your family, and your friends. There's nothing but misery to be gained from interfering in the hardship of others. Harrington Nathalan. Excavation of the Enclave by Nahalath. Elminster said Nalath. Losing my voice is drying out. Elminster said Nalath was wanted to behold when it floated in Faerun's sky. He was surely right. This Netherese enclave was once a jewel of the Empire of Magic, with towers that pierced the heavens, and yet it fell just like all Netherese enclaves did, crashing down when Karsus' folly ripped magic from the world. But even after it collapsed into the sea, its ruins still held a strange, twisted beauty. I traveled there from Halrua when I heard the sea had retreated and the ruins of Nalath were visible once again. Alas, I was not the first. Looters have stripped the enclave of its material wealth, destroying much of its esoteric riches in the process. I found arcane books to make campfires, their magic lost now to the ages. I have met some Shadowvar here whose interests align with mine, and we have agreed to search the ruins together. I'm grateful for these allies. The ruins are mostly filled with thick-skulled adventurers, but I cannot shake the feeling that someone is watching us, waiting to see what we uncover. There are a lot of books here. No cause for alarm in all capitals. An illustration of a burning city introduces the book's frenzied summary of Eltergard's recent history. People of the Sword Coast, there is no cause for alarm. You've no doubt heard of the harrowing events that befell the city of Elturel. An entire city dispatched to the Hells. Perhaps you have also heard of the deranged gossip and rumors that similar cataclysmic atrocity may befall the city of Baldur's Gate. Have no fear. The so-called Holy City of Elturel has in fact long been a foul pit of devil worshippers. From the ruling class to the common folk, the citizens were all touched by the infernal. Whether it was in their blood from birth or they were seduced by its power, they were evil to their core. Elturel invited its own doom. Baldur's Gate is far from perfect, but anyone who believes the rot runs as deep as in Elturel is either mad or an Eltergardian propagandist. The Fists will defend our city with their very lives, if they must, and I promise you that no infernal conspiracies infect the minds and souls of our noble dukes and patriarchs. Sure, there's nothing going on with the dukes and patriarchs. It's not infernal, it's mind flayers. Completely different. A history of contempt. Have we already forgotten that before this latest madness, Elturel was infested with the undead? Should we forget the aggressive expansion of Eltergard? They have never been our friends. Vigilance will protect us, do not be alarmed. Okay, so that was a lot of fun lore, but none of it seems probably related. Do I want to keep reading everything? We've read about the Spell Plague. We've read about the Guild. This book is sitting out, which makes me think it might be important. The 5-Year War by Torwin Base. The war was, in truth, nothing short of tragedy. It began as a mild altercation between the sanguine sons of the Aelio and Vida families regarding, if you can believe it, the proper ownership of a sheep farm. Over the course of 3 seasons, full-blown conflict had erupted between the Baldur's Gate and Victan. Pointless war, leaving both cities with nothing but 1,000 youthful corpses to show for it. Findings from the Hinterlands, new edition. Alright, we're slowly making our way down. Hello, floating book.
Hold still, will you?
Can someone grab that? I guess I can't because I've already failed it. Let's try a quick save before I waste.
Still, will you?
Let us have words.
Okay, she got her try. Will.
Quite.
Perfect. And maps memoirs. My life has been a long succession of pleasures. To see my town take to my ideas and cease legal discrimination of local orcs. To see my fights against horrid living conditions in city factories take off. To have the chance to see a new generation take on these ideas of a better, kinder, fairer, intelligent world and run with it to new reaches of the continent. It was not a life without struggle, however, I shall regret its failures. My old friend Swelto comes to mind, who adopted such cruel ideologies later in life. I will forever console myself in the idea that such a brilliant mind would only conceive such theories under the strain of exile, and the promise of reinstatement as she ultimately was.
I've got a long road ahead.
I assume that's going to be related because that book was flying around, therefore it's probably important. This text roots its subjects on Baldur, a sailor of exquisite renown who founded the city of Baldur's Gate many years ago. The prose is colorful, but a little too self-satisfied around the edges, and the novel would be remarkable, but for one small entry about halfway, would be unremarkable, but one for small entry about halfway through. Baldur claimed a guardian and a friend, Ansar. Bright were Ansar's scales, and brighter still his breath. Yet after a betrayal too piercing to recount here in worthy detail, Ansar fled beneath the stone, thereby changing the name of the region he now slumbers under to match his draconic lineage. The Soul Forger? Urban myths are so engaging because the skeleton of their story is tied to a craft of the modern era. The bones are made of steel, iron, nickel, copper, a whole host of metals alloyed and superheated and fused together at the joints of legend. Moradin, Soul Forger, Allfather, is said to have crafted the dwarves species from the very core of the planet Aber-Toril. By retelling this story, dwarves link themselves to the craft of blacksmithing. They have in one fell swoop tapped an ore vein of metaphor and discovered a seam of cultural import. For dwarves are not born so industrious, so stoneworthy, so clever at geology. Rather, unlike the growth of long bushy beards, it is learned behavior. I think we might have read that before. 1 foot, 2 foot, well met, well meet. Probably have read this. Yes, very early on. I think that might have been in the... oh, we've got another... No, those aren't flying books.
Should mind my stab.
I think that might have been in the... Druid Enclave we were at early on. Alright, you three. I've read all the books. Well, most of the books. I don't get to talk to them. I just have to kill one? Oh, dear. Swelto's the name we read recently. Maps is familiar. Don't remember Stead. Hang on. This is Amap's memoirs. So Amaps was talking about wanting a better world. Swelto, my old friend Swelto comes to mind, who adopted such cruel ideologies later in life. So are we supposed to kill Swelto then?
No time to rest.
I just want to recheck exactly what our instructions were.
Strike down the advisor who would lead the city to ruin.
Okay. Sounds like it's Swelto. Let's toss down a save first. No, don't waste my once per day ability. An insightful decision. The tree of peace bore lasting fruit. Proceed. Okay.
If not over, then through.
Well, I assume that means we succeeded at that particular test. But I don't know how long this episode's gone because I had to put some cuts in the middle. So it's probably been a normal length. So I think we will end the episode here. Next time we will continue on with Baldur's tests for us and see how it goes. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I will see you next time. Bye.